Which note-taking app should you choose? Should it be Obsidian or should it be Bear? Well, this video will show you exactly which app suits the best your needs. Hey everyone, Matt Giaro here, and on this channel I help content creators take their ideas and actually turn it into an income. So if that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button now. And before digging deeper into today's video, be sure to check out the first link in the description, which will give you access to a free PDF that will give you 3 powerful tips to supercharge your note-taking system, and this no matter which app you're using. So with that being said, let's just dive deeper into today's video. So what you have to understand is that Obsidian works on all interfaces, which means that Obsidian works on Windows, it works on Android, it works on the Apple ecosystem, but Bear is only available on the Apple ecosystem, which means that this comparison will only focus on the user experience and the different features that are available on the Apple ecosystem. So let's just dive deeper right now into the shared features, because you're going to see that there are a lot of similar things between those apps. So the first thing I wanted to mention here is that both apps actually have an offline mode, which means that you can access your notes without the need being connected to the internet, which is quite appreciable, especially if you want to think clearly and don't want to be bogged down in all the noise of being connected 24/7. Second point, which is highly appreciable also, is that both apps on the Apple ecosystem are blazing fast, which means that you won't have to wait several seconds in order to launch the app and also start writing. Actually allow you to also cloud sync your notes. Another thing is that both apps allow cloud syncing, which means that your notes will be automatically backed up into the cloud. So when it comes to Bear, what you have to understand is Bear only works on the Apple ecosystem and only with iCloud, which means that your iCloud account will also store your notes. When it comes to Obsidian, we're going to see the different options that you have later on in this video. And when it comes to Bear, cloud syncing is only available on the paid plan, which costs around $15 per year. Another appreciable thing is that you can easily add attachments to your notes on Obsidian and on Bear. Those can be audio files, those can be PDFs, those can also be images. And finally, both apps actually allow you to export your note easily. And this is very important for your long-term vision when it comes to your notes, because you don't want to be locked down into one specific ecosystem in case you just want to change your note-taking app in the future. So now let's just dig deeper into what really makes the difference between those apps. So the first point I want to tackle here is the node organization. So you really have to understand how the note-taking apps have been set up by their founder in order really to grasp what the differences are and how you can take advantage of them. When it comes to Obsidian, you're going to notice that Obsidian uses folders and tags in order to organize your note. But when it comes to Bear, you're going to see that there are absolutely no folders, only tags. So depending on the structure, depending on how you actually work with your notes, you may prefer one app through another. And especially if you are a fan of using tags when using your notes, you're going to see that the experience on Bear, in my opinion, is way more enjoyable than using tags on Obsidian. And for that, let me just show you exactly how this works. You can see right now I am in a demo vault here on Obsidian. And if I want to create a new note, I just simply click here on New Note, and it automatically opens up the note editor. So this is actually the note title, and I can just start writing here, and then at the end just add some tags. So tag 0, tag 1, tag 02, and that's it. So after that, what I wanted to do in order to retrieve actually my tag using different options. So the first thing is what you're going to notice is that all notes will be stored here, and they are not really sorted out by tags. What is actually the case in Bear when we're going, and you're going to notice that in a few seconds. So the thing is that actually if I want to just search by tags, I have to click the search panel here and then just actually search for a specific tag. And then you're going to see I have different suggestions here of the tags I've already created. There are also other options, but I won't dig deeper into them in this video. But when it comes to Bear, as you can see here, I have all my different tags sorted out here with a nice and convenient icon that I can simply choose by clicking on the tag and then just change the icon here. So let me just show you exactly how this works. So let's suppose that I'm just creating a new node here. So this is a test node with a test content. And then let me just add here a tag that starts with ABC. Let me just add this ABC tag here. And what you're going to see is that ABC right now appears here, and all nodes that are tagged with ABC will appear under this tag. So if you're really a fan of working with tags, in my opinion, Bear is way more convenient than Obsidian. So let's just dive back into Obsidian to show you exactly the folders that I talk about. So what you can see here is you can just create different folders here. So a test folder, and let's just add another folder here. And what I can do after that is if I create nodes, I can just easily drag and drop them into different folders if I want to work like that, or I can just actually directly create a node that's outside the folder. So it allows you actually to take full advantage of folders and tags in the same way. But if you are like me and you are really paying attention to the user experience, in my opinion, Bear is way ahead the curve than Obsidian. So let's just now talk about the storage and the sync options. So as you saw previously, I told you that both apps actually give you the option to sync your data on the cloud. But there are differences. So when it comes to Obsidian, what you have to understand is that you have different options when it comes to actually storing and syncing your data. So Obsidian actually allows you to sync directly to the cloud of your choice, maybe Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, and this is actually very convenient if you don't want to pay for an extra cloud storage. The second option that you have with Obsidian is actually only storing your data on the local computer or the local phone that you are actually using for running the app. And the third option that you have is what they call Obsidian Sync, which actually is a service by Obsidian which allows you to encrypt and also store your data on the cloud managed by Obsidian, which costs $8 per month. When it comes to Bear, you actually just have two options. So option number one is that you use iCloud to store your data and your notes on the cloud. And the second option is to not activate any syncing at all, which means that all your files will only be accessible and only be stored on the device that you're using Bear with. So this is something that you have to consider depending on if you want your nodes to be on a cloud or not. So now let's just talk about the integrations. So what you have to understand is that both apps actually don't have a lot of integrations when it comes to Zapier, when it comes to automating actually your workflow, but there are a lot of workarounds that you can use for those apps. So the first thing at Bear is actually working with iOS shortcuts. So you can automate creating node, appending things to node, adding things to node directly with an iOS shortcut. When it comes to Obsidian, you're going to see there are way more templates, way more plugins that you can add in order to really make it a power horse. So I won't dig deeper into all the different plugins and features that you can add into Obsidian, but it really depends on how you use your note-taking app. So if you're looking for automating a lot of things, well, both apps will actually not help you a lot. But by the time I'm recording this, there is just a new feature that has been released by Readwise, which actually allows you right now to export your notes. For example, if you're reading on Kindle, you can directly right now export them into Obsidian. So there is actually a new feature that just came out recently, and you can check that out simply on Readwise. So the thing is that when it comes to Bear, as you can see, if you're using Readwise, there is no way to automatically export your highlights, and you have to do this manually, which is not that convenient. And now let's just talk about the user interface. And I have to admit that Obsidian is way more powerful and it has way more options than Bear. But all this comes at a price. It comes at a price of the user interface and actually the accessibility and how you're actually going to interact with your notes. Especially if you work a lot on mobile like myself, you're going to see that the Obsidian mobile app is just not convenient at all. I really hope that this will change in the future and will allow me to get the best out of Obsidian, not only on the computer, but also on my mobile device. So now let's just talk about the node editor and what are the difference between the node editor on Bear and the node editor on Obsidian. So what you have to understand is that actually right now, by the time I'm recording this video, there are two modes on Obsidian. You have the first mode, which is the edit mode, and the second mode is actually the preview mode. And right now, Obsidian is actually working on what you see is what you get editor. So I hope that this in the future would actually disappear and that you only will have one mode to edit and preview your nodes. So let me just show you exactly how this looks like right now. So as you can see right now, I'm in the edit mode and I can just like tap anything right here. I can just add images, dragging and dropping the image right here into the editor. And then as you can see, it won't actually show the image. So if I actually want to see the image, I have to go to the preview mode, and right now, as you can see, the image actually appears. So this is one thing. The other thing is that both of the apps actually use Markdown. So as you can see, you can just add a title here and an H2 title here, and so on and so forth. So the same thing goes for Bear. So if I go back to Bear here, as you can see, what is really convenient, what I really have done pretty well here is that if I just type an H1 title here, it will actually appear as a H1, and I will actually have also a small annotation here that shows me the level of the header actually. Same thing goes for actually if I want to make something bold here, pretty easy. So the preview and the edit mode is just one mode. So I don't really understand why in Obsidian they actually differentiate by that, but this should actually be fixed in the near future. So same goes for the image. We quickly drag and drop another image here. As you can see, the image directly appears here. Don't have to switch between modes to actually show the image. So as you can see, both editors actually use Markdown, which is pretty convenient, especially if you're used to this language. So regarding the editor, I've noticed also a lot of flaws when it comes to Bear on mobile. So yeah, this is my little rant about Obsidian on mobile, but I hope this will be fixed in the future. So let's talk about pricing and how much does it actually cost. So the thing is that Obsidian is actually free, it's open source, and this is really, really appreciable. So the only thing that you have to pay in Obsidian is actually if you want to use the Obsidian Sync option, right? But you can just bypass that by using another cloud system. Or if you want to use actually the publish feature, which allows you to publish different notes automatically into a website hosted on the Obsidian system, right? So if you want to actually use Bear and its full feature, which also includes and if you want to use Bear with its different panel of options, you have to go for the paid subscription, which costs around $15 per year. So right now, let's talk about node linking, and this is actually one of the main differentiators also between Obsidian and Bear. So Obsidian is primarily designed to allow easy linking between nodes so that you can actually fully apply the Zettelkasten method with your nodes. And this is actually not the case with Bear. And actually sent an email to Bear a few months ago asking them if they are going to add this feature. And as you can see, here is the reply. So they are clearly mentioning that this feature is not coming in the near months for sure, but it may be added in the future updates. So this feature might be coming in the future, but we don't have any guarantee. So if you are Bear veteran user, you know right now exactly what to expect when it comes to adding more Obsidian features into Bear. Let me just jump into Obsidian right now. So you show you exactly how this link feature works in Obsidian. Let me just show you exactly the procedure or the process here in the app. So the first thing, let's assume that I'm just creating a new node here. And this node is about actually computer, okay? So a computer, so here I'm going to put a description what a computer actually is, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now let's just create a new node about a phone, okay? So, and if we combine those two ideas, we're gonna come up with a smartphone, okay? So this is to show you exactly how you can come up with different ideas. So the first thing, let's assume right now, here I'm in the node computer, and let's just say that I have an idea, and I could just write here, it would be cool if there was a phone with some computer features. Okay, great. So right now, what's interesting is, as you can see here, inside Obsidian here, I have what's called unlinked mentions, which means that Obsidian is going to search in other notes where I have the exact same title as the node that I'm currently in. So right now it's phone. And as you can see, it just found the node where I have the word phone in it, which is actually this one. So here I have two options. Either I create a link directly here from Obsidian to the node here. And as you can see, let me just do that here. So link. And right now what will happen is that now I've got a backlink here, okay? So the thing is that I could also easily like remove the link here, okay? So let me just do that right now. And I could just easily add right now here another link, basically either by selecting it and then just typing bracket, or let's say if I'm in the midst of actually writing this down, I could just open the brackets here. Let me just delete that. I can just open the brackets here and then just type phone, as you can see. And here I can actually link nodes between them, okay? So let's just see what the procedure looks like in Bear. Here right now I'm back in Bear, and right now I'm going to create a new node here, and let's just assume this is my computer node, and then let's create a new node here, and this is my phone node. Okay, so right now what I can do is I don't have the unlinked feature here, but what I can do is I can easily link right now my computer node to my phone node by just same procedure here, tapping the two brackets and entering right now phone. And as you can see here right now I have directly my phone node. I can just hit enter and voila, here I have actually my backlink. So as you can see, Obsidian is actually built around building links, right? And actually combining between nodes. What's actually not the case when it comes to Bear. But as you can see, the node linking feature is still available in Bear. Right now, let's just dive deeper into the conclusion. So which app should you choose? What is actually the best app? Is it Obsidian or is it Bear? Let me just give you my opinion on that question. But before that, let me remind you about the free PDF that you can get by clicking the first link in the description that will give you 3 powerful tips to supercharge your note-taking system, no matter if you're using Obsidian, if you're using Bear, or if you're using any other app. Just show you quickly right now what I like about Obsidian and what I like about Bear. And obviously what I like in one app, I don't like it in the other. But let me just show you exactly so that you can actually get a nice opinion about those two apps. So the first thing what I like about Obsidian, and there is actually no doubt about that, that it's multi-platform. So let's say if you have an Android phone and a Mac computer, you are going to be able to access your note on both of those devices, which is actually not the case in Bear because it's only locked down into the Apple ecosystem. So you have to be an Apple and you have to be locked in the Apple ecosystem in order to work on your notes. So the second thing, and this is actually where Obsidian actually stands out, it's because it's all built about backlinks. So if you really care about backlinks, creating backlinks between your notes, linking between your notes, coming up with new ideas, then Obsidian has actually is actually better for this purpose. The other thing is what's pretty interesting, and it is actually that in Obsidian you can have multiple votes, which means that you can create actually more than one vote in which you can actually take notes, right? Let's say, for example, if you want to separate between your notes in your personal life and in your business, in actually everything related to business, you can create multiple votes in Obsidian, and it will create a whole ecosystem about nodes, but which are actually not linked. And you could also basically link between them if you wanted to. So it gives you actually more versatility, which is actually not the case in Bear. So the Bear is actually locked into your device or into your iCloud account, and actually you cannot separate notes if you wanted to do so. So basically, it depends all on the preference that you have regarding your notes. So the other thing about Obsidian is that it has a lot of customization options. So there are a lot of plugins and a lot of things that you can actually do in Obsidian. Like you can just check that out and check also the community plugins that there are available for Obsidian. So there is a bunch of things that are going on. But the drawback basically is that it can be actually overwhelming and complicated if you start just taking notes, right? So if you're new to the app. So the other thing which is really amazing in Obsidian is actually the graph view. So let me just show you that. So right now, as you can see, I don't have a lot of nodes here, only 2 demo nodes. But if you switch to the graph view, what you can do is you can actually see how the nodes are actually connected between them. And this gives you actually a nice overview of the different topics and the different things that you have in your note
taking system. The other thing that I really like about Obsidian is obviously that it's free and you only have to pay to if you really want to use their paid features. So what I really like about Bear is that actually the mobile app and the aesthetics of the overall user experience, right? Clearly, especially when it comes to using the app on your phone, you're going to see that Obsidian, by the time that I'm recording this, I really don't like their iOS app. It actually creates more friction in actually entering my personal knowledge management system. And it's actually counterproductive. If you don't like the way how the app looks, you're not going to consult, you're not going to create notes. So this can be actually a huge problem in the long run. The other thing that I really like about Bear is actually the note editor. You see how they actually were able to seamlessly integrate between the editor and the preview mode, which I found is just genius when it comes to Bear. The other thing is that Bear is actually quite simple. There are not a lot of bells and whistles, so they do a small kind of things, but they do them well. And Obsidian, it can actually be quite overwhelming, as I told you previously, so be careful about that. The other thing that I really like about Bear and that I showed you previously is the tag pane and actually how you can add specific icons to specific tags. So if you really like working with tags, Bear looks actually better than Obsidian in my opinion. The other thing is that you can actually create notes in Bear without titles, which is actually not the case in Obsidian. Let me just show you that. So let's assume that I'm going to create a note here, and let's say this note is actually a quote from somebody. I can just leave it like that in Bear, but it's not the case in Obsidian. As you can see, it still like gives me the untitled title, and I actually have to put a title here. And sometimes when I'm creating a note, I just don't want to use a title. So as an example, if I want to create just a note here, I can just delete the H1 tag and I just put my quote here, and the note will actually live like that inside the Bear app, which is actually not the case in Obsidian. So this can be quite annoying, especially if you just want to capture quick notes. It will actually, you will have to put actually the title here and then again inside the notes. So it's not very convenient when it comes to that. Okay. The other thing that I really like also about Bear is that it works with iOS shortcuts. And right now, by the time I'm recording this, Obsidian does not have any integration with iOS shortcuts. So this could be actually a solution to their mobile app not be very iOS friendly and iOS optimized. So if I was just able to run a quick iOS shortcut to create a new node or to append something to an existing node, it will make actually the thing way easier. And then I could still go back to my computer if I really want to organize the node better and actually work on that. So what is actually better, Obsidian or Bear? Well, it's completely subjective. It all depends on the usage that you have. And like if you don't have any issues actually working on a computer, then Obsidian may be the app that you should go for. But if you work a lot on mobile, if you really care about design, having a nice and neat node editor, then I think that Bear will actually more floats your boat. But the best thing is actually to try out both of those apps and to see which one works for you. So right now, what I want you to do is leave a comment below. Are you an Obsidian user? Are you a Bear user? Are you an ex-Bear user or an ex-Obsidian user who switched to Bear? Well, let me know exactly which app you're currently using or which app you left basically for another app and what or where the reason for that. Okay, so I can't wait to read your comments down below. So right now at the end of this video, I wanted to remind you to download the PDF for free for getting the 3 powerful tips to supercharge your note-taking system, no matter which app you're using. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because on this channel, I'm going to release more content for content creators to make a living from their ideas. So make sure to subscribe if this sounds like you. And also what you can do is just watch another video on my channel that should be suggested based on your YouTube history, thanks to the YouTube algorithm. And with that being said, I see you guys in the next one.